Is Zion a real person?
No.
Can I look in your basement real quick and I'll get out of
No,
here?
you need a search warrant to do that. What is that?
First tip for Zion Staples. Zion Staples.
She told me, she said, promise me that you'll take this to your grave.
It's 9:21 p.m. in Rock Island, Illinois, when officers respond to a welfare check that's far from routine.
How can I help you? Hi.
Are you Miss Staples?
Yes, how can I help you?
So we got kind of a weird phone call. Do you know?
No.
No.
I don't know anybody out here.
Some lady called DCFS. And,
What?
And kind of made some claims that you had a child that accidentally shot themselves.
Absolutely not.
37-year-old Sushi Staples wastes no time denying the accusation and has an idea of who might be setting her up.
My ex-husband, his new girlfriend, this broad is off the chain. I have went down to Rock Island and filed a police report on her.
Okay.
I have went and put a restraining order on her.
What's her name?
Her name is... This girl is never in it. She has so many different Facebook pages she stalks me from. She has made up different names, called me from different numbers. I have changed my number, tried to do everything I can.
Right.
Unfortunately, I can never seem to get them served because they're always bouncing around in the Chicago area.
Oh, okay. They're not even down here.
They're
then?
not even out here. And
Okay.
it's been a constant...
Have we been here before?
No, you've never come to my house for anything. I've been here for 7 years and never had a problem in Rock Island.
Yeah, I didn't know who you were.
I work at... I'm a patient care tech. I'm a student at...
Okay.
I have a business in Davenport. This girl has made threats towards me on Facebook, posting her gun up, saying that she's gonna come to my addy. It's just never ending.
Right. So they made some allegation that you had a son and he shot himself.
Sir,
and he's in your
come
basement.
on now. You think... Look where I live.
No, I get it. Just so I can check the box off, can I look in your basement real quick and I'll get out of
No,
here?
you need a search warrant to do that. I'm sorry, I'm not about to have my rights violated because someone makes Uranus allegations like this.
I know. And like I said, it sounded crazy to me too. I'm just up here seeing if, we have to investigate it, no matter how crazy it sounds.
If you want to do that, I would suggest you go through the proper protocols. I'm not about to let some crazy woman who now has my husband make Uranus accusations like this and have my rights violated.
No, I get it. That's what
That is not okay. I have 4 girls in here.
That's what I'm just asking. I'm not
4 children.
I'm not trying to blame anything on you. I'm not saying this is true. I was just asking. Okay.
This is nuts.
That's all it is.
Be careful what you wish for. Sushi asked for a warrant, and that's exactly what officers delivered the next day.
So the reason we're here, okay, is because we're investigating a call that we had, okay? The officers came out and talked to you last night, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We have to handle that real seriously, okay? Because the allegations are that you have a son and that he's deceased and he's here in this house. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Do you have a son named Zion?
No, I don't.
You've never had a son named Zion.
No.
Are you claiming benefits for a kid named Zion?
No. I haven't gotten any benefits for anyone. I just recently went through a situation where a young lady stole my identity and she falsely filed my taxes and my informations and stuff like that. And I've been working with the FBI. I've been working with the IRS. There's been a lot of things popping up, and
have you had any interactions with DCFS up in Chicago?
I did.
Okay.
False calls that were made.
Okay.
Correct.
One of the calls from 2021, DCFS came out to your residence in Chicago, and there was a Zion Staples there.
I told you my identity was stolen. My taxes were illegally filed. I went through a whole thing with the IRS. That was not me.
But who was this Zion that was interviewed by DCFS up in Chicago, right in the presence of all your other children?
There was no one
Zion
interviewed.
Staples.
No one was interviewed. Where does it say someone named Zion Staples was interviewed?
It was.
Because the call was made about my son by his father.
Yes.
It was never made about a
But they
Zion
talked it. They
Staples.
talked.
But when they went there, there
DCFS did a
was.
report.
The only child that they spoke to, because it was regarding him, was
Zion and you at the residence.
they spoke with myself, and they spoke with Mr. Owens at the time. They did not, they took pictures of everyone that was in the house. Yes, we had frequent visitors. We had kids in the neighborhood come over.
So,
Some of those kids that were implicated were not, in fact, our children. They were there.
so you're saying there was a kid in your apartment that was not your kid, named Zion.
I didn't say his name was
Staples.
Zion. No.
Well, somewhere here we've got to clear this up with this Zion Staples.
Yes, and
Benefits, listen to it. Benefits being put in his name that you're receiving from.
I haven't
And
received
then,
any benefits.
and then also involved in this.
I haven't received any benefits. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, it's
Someone
understated.
has stolen my identity. I have proof of that. If you go in my phone, you'll be able to see the messages between me and the FBI agent in Milwaukee. So
But this is separate from that with the DCFS call.
because somebody is obviously claiming benefits and getting
No,
probably getting food
no,
stamps
So,
or
but
something.
they're getting food stamps for your 4 daughters and Zion.
And I've been having a hard time with that because I can't get any because of that, and I've been working on it.
Hey, by the way, as you're watching this, what are the body cams on Law and Crime prove? Maybe that the world is scary and unpredictable and having a great lawyer matters. And that is where Morgan & Morgan, the exclusive personal injury law firm of Law and Crime, comes in. Now, not only do they give us, amazing little merchandise here, look at this hat, fits actually pretty well, but they're also a firm with over 1,000 attorneys, and that is because they win a lot. In the past few months, Morgan & Morgan secured a $29 million verdict for a bicyclist in Philadelphia, a $2.7 million verdict for a car accident victim in Florida, not to mention $5.6 million for a car crash victim in Georgia after insurance offered that client $0. And even if you think your case isn't worth millions of dollars, why not start a claim and fight for what you deserve? And Morgan & Morgan makes it so simple. You can start a claim from your phone in just 8 clicks. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LCBodyCam. While Sushi insists it's a mix-up, officers hunt to uncover any trace of Zion existing.
Okay, are we going to find anything in your house that has Zion's name on it? Birth certificate, social security card, or anything like that?
Nope.
Because, but this is what's going to happen here. We're going to end up going on a manhunt looking for some Zion. Because that's because now we got this allegation.
Because in our eyes, this kid exists.
Yeah, 100%. And if a kid doesn't exist, the kid doesn't exist. If it's a family member's kid that you're claiming to get a little extra cash, hey, I ain't going to hold that against you. I understand that. It's a reasoning how people survive. It's tough. You got 4 here. I mean, you get a bigger tax return at the end.
I have 4 children here that I don't get no help with, okay?
But that's what they're saying. Is somebody else claiming your kids on so they can claim 9 kids and get aid and come here? Is because the public health is telling us that the aid is under this address, under these kids' names, right?
Yep.
And that there's funds coming in from it. And that's public health. If there's a kid that we can go I don't care if it's here, in Indiana, Chicago, whatever, we can send somebody and say, yep, I am Zion Staples, and this
Anybody
is
can do that.
and then another officer. Let me finish. No. Let me finish here. Let me finish here. Okay? If you are claiming people back and forth amongst family members to get bigger returns, our biggest concern is that we can have somebody with law enforcement say, this is Zion, this is what's going on, and he is fine. Because right now, we have a person that exists, but we can't lay eyes on him, and it's a child.
At that moment, officers discover a clue that suggests Zion is more than just a name.
Birth certificate?
What is that?
It's birth certificate.
For Zion Staples.
Zion Staples.
That's not mine.
Sushi Staples. Child. It's found in your room.
We need to get this figured out. Stop
lying.
this.
It's over.
Where's that kid? You need to come clean because we're not going anywhere. This is just, you're just going to dig yourself a bigger grave now. I asked you if there's anything with Zion's name in this house. You said no. So let's start all over, okay? Who is Zion?
Because we're starting with something that we're being told really terrible, and then we're talking about down here with maybe fraud. We don't know. But somewhere along here, we need to get the full thing here and understand what this is. So what is the part of this that this really is? Because you know what they told you last night, and that's something horrible.
That's
but then there's
horrible.
And then we're talking about, are you getting benefits from a child that doesn't exist but have all this stuff for? We need to know the truth here. It's done, it's over. We're in the middle of this now. We have evidence to show this now.
So let's start over. Who is Zion? Is he your son?
Where's Ben at?
I mean, the cat's out of the bag now. I need to know.
Can I just get my kids somewhere safe, please?
We need to. Here's the thing, hon.
I will go with you where you want to go. Just let me call my family. That's it.
We need to
Come get my kids. That's it.
We need to open up and talk about this.
Oh.
And I know this might be the toughest thing you've ever done, but we have to figure this out now. This is as serious gets, and we need to understand what's going on here. We're too far in now. Okay? Let's take a moment here. Let's relax, but we've got to get this discussed and get it out in the open.
I can see. This is eating you up. This is eating you up inside. Okay.
Oh my God.
Who is Zion?
Look, I will talk to you, but can I please just have my family come and get my kids?
Do you have family here?
They're 2.5 hours away, but they can come and get my kids, please. And I'll talk to you, okay? And that's my word.
Stay here.
We'll see what we can do. Okay.
Just stay right there.
What you need to ask yourself is, the person that made this call, hypothetically, if they knew that something supposedly happened and waited to report something like that, what would that make them? What would that make them?
A witness.
An accessory after the fact? Because what? They came to you with this allegation and decided they wanted to use it when they got upset?
We're not blaming anybody else, okay?
We need to know what happened before we start getting to that point.
Because yeah, we could work stuff out on the back end on that, but I don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened until you tell us.
Police sense the emotion rising in Sushi and play the strongest card they have, her love as a mother.
This has been weighing on you for a little bit, and you can tell. Let's get it in the open.
You say you care about your kids, right?
I do.
Okay. Well, what happened to Zion?
Speak for him. Speak for him right now.
He needs his closure and his rest, and We need to find him. Can you be strong for him and tell us what happened?
Am I gonna go to jail for fraud?
That's not our decision. You know.
Because I'm gonna take what you tell me and I'm gonna call a state's attorney.
But the big thing is we need to know what the whole deal is. Okay. I'm gonna tell you. We just gather all the facts and present them, and then what the state's attorney decides is what the state's attorney decides. But we need to know the truth about Zion. What's the deal with that?
I needed some extra help, okay? That was it.
What do you mean by that?
I had a person that makes documents. And it was just really hard, like,
So is Zion a real person?
no.
Tell me about how you got these documents.
I know a person that makes the documents.
Which documents did you get?
IDs, social security cards, birth certificates, things like that. Check stubs, high school diplomas. And they made it for me to have an extra dependent on my income taxes, but I never used it, so I gave it to somebody else to use for theirs, so they can get more money.
Okay, that doesn't add up though, because the benefit's coming to you at this house.
Yeah, so that was the thing. I get the benefits, and they filed the taxes.
That's the split.
That's the split.
Sushi's words say one thing, but her tears are telling officers a different story.
But I can tell in your emotion that there's something more here than a fraud issue.
You've been through the system, and you're not going to be bawling and crying like that
For over some theft issue.
over a identity
That's a
theft crap.
There's something more here, and we need to get that uncovered. And that's why we're saying, if you're not going to provide it, you know, we are going to talk to the kids too. We need to know what's going on here with this.
What? What's wrong with my... Why is he yelling?
He was talking. He was trying to get somebody else.
There's something more going on here. That's why we were here. And I can tell by your emotion that it's more than a theft issue. And we need to unravel that truth of what's going on there. Because, like we said, until we can fully prove and know what's going on, we're going to search till days ends till we uncover and know where this Zion is. And you hold the key to that. and we need to get this figured out. I know you're worried about you and adverse of what comes of all, but
I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about my children.
We need to.
I can fend for myself. They can't. I'm worried about them. I'm worried about my children.
But this was one of your children too, and his soul is not to rest if we don't know what. If it's just like he's erased. He needs to be set free.
There is nobody to set free like you're.
So the kids are going to say that they've never had a brother named Zion in their life. That's been erased from their memories.
Because we're gonna look for birth certificates.
What, are they taking my kids out of here? They're taking my kids?
Hey, you told us you would talk to us.
No, I didn't tell you that.
You told us that you would tell us what was going on here.
Mommy, are you okay?
No, what's going on?
She's trying to take us.
Hang on.
What?
No.
Wait. Why are you trying to take my kids out of here?
Because we're gonna talk to them.
But you can't take.
No.
Can I call my lawyer? Do not talk to them without an attorney. Do you understand me?
Don't touch him.
None of you. Do not speak without an attorney. Do you hear me? Do you understand me? Look at me. None of you are to talk to them or answer any questions without an attorney, okay? You understand? Don't answer any questions at all. You understand? You understand? Do not. Instruct to do the same. And do not talk without an attorney. Because now you all are railroading us.
Railroading anybody. We're trying to figure out what is
You're
going
trying
on.
to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And I just told you. And you're taking my kids out of my home, something you said you was not going to do.
They're going to a house to be interviewed.
You're taking
He
them
told you we
away
were going
from me.
to. We're not taking them anywhere. We're taking them to go get interviewed.
Can I call a lawyer, please?
Do you want a
Can I
lawyer?
call my family. Now I'm feeling like I'm boxed in. I can't even use my phone to call anyone.
We're seizing your phone. If you want a phone number or something out of there, we can get that for you. So if you want an attorney, we can be done with this, and we're just going to keep digging and digging and digging and digging.
And are you going to bring my kids back in the house?
After they're done interviewed, then DCFS is gonna
my kids without a lawyer though. Like,
they're not in trouble.
They're not.
I'm not there, and you're interviewing
because
them
you're
without
wanting to
me.
control them.
I'm not controlling them.
That's what you're saying. You're
No,
saying you just sat here and instructed them to not talk or do
You're
anything.
taking them to some unknown place and questioning my kids.
We're not going to question them. There's trained professionals that it's called the Child Advocacy Center. Okay, and
But
a police
you're
officer.
taking them to a center. You just basically came
It's a house
searched my
like
house.
a couple miles away from here.
You came and searched my house.
Well, we're not done searching it.
Yeah, with a warrant.
You're interrogating me,
Exactly.
and you are telling me I can't call family and I can't call a lawyer. I can't call a lawyer and let them know you are here. I can't call a lawyer to come here to my house while I'm being questioned by you.
If you want an attorney right now, we can we'll just be done.
We'll be done.
All right.
But the investigation continues.
Okay.
Okay. Go and turn it off for me.
Oh, no. I'm going to jail. What am I going to jail for? What have I done?
You just admitted to fraud.
So now you're going to railroad me on fraud?
Railroad you what? We're trying to figure out where your kid is. You're saying that he doesn't exist.
My kid. So now you're trying to railroad me.
Railroad you what? You did this to yourself.
Your officer just said he didn't. I didn't get any benefits though. I didn't file any IRS returns.
You're in possession of false documentation, and you already said that you signed up and have them for financial aid.
But I didn't. That's what I told you. Someone stole my identity.
You said you did it, but then they claim
I bought the documents. I told you I bought the documents. I told you I bought the documents, but they were never used for me. They were never used for me. I never used them. You don't have any proof that I used anything. That's not proof. Anybody could have done that.
Anybody? You said
yes.
You said you did
My
it.
identity was stolen. I'm working with the FBI about it.
Keep lying.
That's the truth.
With Sushi sticking to the fraud story, officers decide to arrest her for the crime she's admitted to committing, even if they're not the ones they think she's guilty of. So what is the truth? Is Zion real, or does he only exist on paper? While the search of the Staples home continues, let's listen to the recorded statement from the tipster who alerted police about Zion.
On January of 2023, the first week of January, I believe it was around the 3rd of January. It was between the 3rd or the 8th. I received a phone call from Sushi. And the phone call at first was just like a regular phone call, like how you been doing and stuff like that. And then I heard her like crying a little bit. And I asked her, I said, what's wrong? And she just stated to me that Christmas will never be the same again. She then stated to me, I said, why, what happened? And she was like hesitant to bring it out and tell me. She then told me that her son she was gone from the house, and she told me that her son had shot himself.
And who do you know her son as?
Zion.
Okay.
She stated that he shot himself. At the time, he was 9 years old. I said, what do you mean he shot himself? I asked her some questions like, how did he get a gun? Like, how did that happen? She explained to me that she had just stepped out to run some errands, and she received a call from her daughter saying that Zion was gone, and weeks went past. I asked her again about it. Then she started busting out in tears, and she told me she never turned it in. She feared that they would take her kids away, and she was scared to lose everything. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said she still had them there. She told me she purchased a burning barrel from Home Depot or something like that you burn leaves and stuff in, and she stored them in that. I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, he was stored in that in her basement. She never showed me. I never seen it. She never actually showed me exactly where it happened in the house. She just told me it happened in her room. And that's why she redid her room, and we would have conversations about her moving and stuff like that, and how she wanted to move out the house, and maybe if she can move out the house and just put it behind her and no one would never know about it. And then she said then she would just have to live with it.
Zion's body had been in the trash can for over 7 months when police discovered it. An autopsy revealed he died from a gunshot wound. Sushi Staples pled guilty to endangering the life of a child and was sentenced to 2 years in prison.